Look at me. What you perceive creates an illusion of who I am.
You don't know me.
You don't know me.
These arms hold the weight of my ambition. These hands craft efficiency. I build machines that gather light and give energy to my needs. Solar panels that power to make our future green.
You don't know me.
You just see me. My fingers are on the pulse of man's quest. I build robotics to inform what's next. In these innovations lie our success.
You don't know me.
I will belong to no limits. I code, I build, I create, I make.
You don't know me.
You don't know me.
You don't know me.
But you will.
Welcome, Black Hollywood Live fans. On today's Fit Club, we are joined by muscle and fitness writer and general fitness badass, Mehmet Edip. Stay tuned for more.
You're tuned into Black Hollywood Live, Fit Club.
All right, you guys, we are back. Welcome to Fit Club. I am your host, Fallon Mercedes. You guys can find me online at fitwithfallon.com or on social media at fitwithfallon. And I'm here with my lovely co-host, Mr. Shaka Strong.
Yeah, you can find me at Shaka Strong on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. And we are joined by muscle and fitness writer Mehmet Edip. Where can they find you?
You can find me on mehmetedip.com, and also my social media handles are the same name.
All right, and if you didn't understand what he said, just kidding.
I have an accent.
Look below, yeah.
It's very nice to hear accent on this show. If you want to try to guess in the comment area where he's from, we're not going to let you know because I guessed it wrong, but please guess away and we will answer you. Now, he's going to chime in because he's an expertise, right? He's a fitness writer. He's done a lot of bodybuilding competitions and an overall fitness expert. So our topics today kind of range, but let's start off with those infamous fitness trackers.
Yes.
I mean, I'm wearing mine right now. I'm funny because I'm seeing the two strong guys in the room don't have them. So we want to know, do fitness trackers really work?
Yeah.
All right. So Shaka, what can you tell us about this? I know you don't wear one, and before diving into the research that we found, what were your, I guess, presumptions on this?
Well, I thought they would work, especially if you have made the choice to go out and buy one. I thought they would work because they're kind of expensive, and so I figured once you can measure everything, and a lot of people do well with measuring a lot of things in their life, and they're able to say, well, this is what was day one, and here's how you change on day two. So I thought they would work, but maybe there might be the possibility that after a while, like any fad, it doesn't. And it looks like the research bore that out. And that after time, that people just don't really use the fitness trackers in the way that they were initially using them.
And it's so interesting because 1 in 5 Americans own a fitness tracker. And in 2016 alone, 16 million of these trackers will be sold. So it's kind of sad to hear that, you're not going to lose that belly fat or perhaps those thunder thighs by wearing yours. But I will say studies also show that the fitness trackers do work for some people, and I'm actually one of those people. I am obsessed with numbers, obsessed. I love logging my food. I love having a goal. Some people just like the scale. Some people that doesn't motivate them. For me, it does. If I know I have a goal at the end of the week, or if I have so many steps to take or so many, calories to burn, that's what kind of gets me out of bed in the morning. What do you think, Mehmet?
I think the key word for me is accountability. And these tools ensure that you're accountable for yourself. But the problem is with these tools is that people stop losing accountability for themselves. So they use these tools and then they lack other things within their lives. So then their diet goes downhill. They're not training as hard as they are. So you can track as many steps as you like. But if you're not training hard and intensely, and if you're not eating right, what is the point? There is no point to these tools. But I do know people that swear by heart rate monitors. But again, those people are accountable. So people like yourself that are dedicated to fitness and diet and nutrition, it's going to work because you know what you're doing. And you're using these numbers as a tool to improve yourself, but there's people that are not doing that.
Yeah, I like what you said, the self-accountability. Now, there was a study over 18 months. They had, I think, 470 overweight adults, and they gave them fitness trackers, and then they had the other I guess group just self-monitor themselves. And 2 years later, what they found was that the people who had the fitness trackers only lost, well, I shouldn't say only, they lost 7.7 pounds. However, the group that just monitored their nutrition and their workouts lost double that, a total of 13 pounds.
Yeah, I think there's a tendency to say, once I hit a goal, oh, I'm good, you know? Where if you don't know, you're kind of constantly looking in your life to what can I improve, what can I improve? But if I hit my 50 steps, I might just take a break and take a rest. And I think that's probably the problem that leads to that.
Yeah, so you guys out there watching, if you are thinking of buying a fitness tracker, I wouldn't say don't, because maybe that's the step that you need to kind of get a little motivation to be excited. But, you know, like Mehmet was saying, like Shaka, you have to also kind of watch those other areas, your nutrition, how much you're working out, and to see the goals that you want to see. Don't just rely on a fitness tracker.
Yeah, I think fitness trackers are, to me, kind of like diets.
Yeah.
If you need a fitness tracker, if you determine you need one, is it something you can do for the rest of your life? Is it something that you're okay with wearing and monitoring for the rest of your life?
I wear mine.
Yeah.
I will wear this for the rest of my life.
it's
I
like
go
your
to sleep with
dedication.
it. It tracks my sleep. I love it.
So I think if you know you're going to use it in that way, you're going to be successful because you're going to be using it and tracking it, and you're committed to doing so. If you're going, I want to do a 30-day diet or a 30-day thing or something short-term with it, it's going to be not efficacious at all.
I think to add on to your point is adding it into your lifestyle. When it becomes part of your lifestyle, then it's fine. But if it's a fad and a short-term thing, that's when it fails. So if you can implement it into your lifestyle, then go for it.
Yeah, makes sense. All right, talking about diets, there is this, I guess, misconception around low-fat diets. And I know Shaka and I have talked about this on other shows, but research, found at one point that if you ate a lot of food that was high in fat, that at the time you would clog your arteries, gain a lot of weight, but research now is showing, I guess quite the opposite. Can you tell us more about that, Shaka?
Well, yeah, we know it's really sugar, and at one point they were recommending having the fat mixing it with a carbohydrate, and maybe that would help, and we know that doesn't really help, and so really sugar became the culprit. But it was a brilliant move. I think there was a lot of sugar lobbying at the time to really pin the blame on fat.
Yeah.
And personally, growing up, we ate everything full fat, whole milk, ice cream with full fat. My mom just hated anything that said the word diet on it, and we were thin and in shape. So it kind of said maybe we just have good genetics, or maybe something's not right here with what we're being told.
I want to add on to that. So for me, I was on a ketogenic diet for a very long time.
Oh, I've done that.
So for me, I'm vegan now, but before then it was
You got one.
He's a real vegan.
I'm a
Eat the
vegan.
popcorn.
No touching the popcorn, but I'm a real spin. But for me, the ketogenic diet, and I've done various diets. I've done carb cycling, carb backloading. Everything you can try, I've kind of tested and kind of tried on my body. So for me, ketogenic worked best for me because my body, I think, was sensitive to certain carbohydrates. So ketogenic, it's basically a diet, for those that don't know, is where you use fat as an energy source. So you're
Instead of
carbohydrates. So you can take in about 30 to 40 grams of carbs per day, but the rest of your food group is proteins and fats. So for me, it was perfect because it allowed me to eat a lot of like red meat, chicken, fish. It was great. But again, I think it's a good diet to kind of try out if it works for you. But again, fat does not mean you're going to get fat, and that's the common misconception. Same misconception with diet products mean that they're good for you. There's usually like a certain filler in there that is not ideal, and it's going to essentially lead you to adding on more fat. So it's reading labels and again being accountable for what you're putting in your body.
Yeah, because when you eat full fat, what happens is that you actually get more full. When you eat a lot of sugary foods or foods with a lot of carbs in it, you're not going to get full. You're going to keep on reaching. So even when I reach for yogurt, I will go for the full fat because I just feel like low fat, I already know it's going to be spiked with sugar. And that really is what leads to obesity is, you know, all these food products being filled with so much sugar. And studies even show that the market changed when this study came out over 10 years ago. And in a decade, they lowered the fat in products from 40% to 30%. Yet the increase of obesity, diabetes, you know, heart disease was on the rise. So that just shows you, you know, we didn't get it right then.
Yeah, because we know the glycemic index and how sugar spikes, and how having the sugar will spike our blood sugar and how it leads to diabetes and these sort of things. So we're finally in that point now where we kind of have identified a culprit, but it's just in everything and we're all addicted. So that's a problem.
I have a solution, which is what I implement into my daily diet is, so my insulin levels don't spike, I try and separate carbohydrates and fatty foods within the same meal.
Oh, we talked about this.
So that's something I do personally, and it keeps me, and I've done it even on a keto diet. I try not to do that because, again, there isn't as much research into that particular area as I'd like, but for me, it's an area which has worked for me, and that's kind of, when people ask me about that, I say, well, try this, see if that works for you. Try separating your food groups. The problem is with grocery stores and anywhere you eat food, people don't do that.
Yeah, you're getting your burgers with your buns with carbs and your fries. You're getting your fat, your carb, your protein all in once.
It's not ideal. So I think it's training the mainstream world to think like that, but it's very difficult to break out of that. Again, it's perfect for post-workout meal if you're going to do that, but during the rest of the day, you don't want to you don't want your insulin levels to spike. Like Shaka was saying, that's what leads to diabetes and essentially like cardiovascular disease and other diseases. So
one of my friends, she's a doctor, and she says the same exact thing, and then I was asking her about clients and constipation issues, weight loss issues, and she said that your, I guess the enzymes in your stomach do not know how to separate when you eat the foods together, the high fat, the carbs. So when you separate them, you're able to break it down, your insulin isn't spiked, and you're going to be more regular. And a good way to put it. So I like that you said that. I haven't heard many people who have said that, so that's interesting.
But one thing you mentioned was the ketogenic diet, and you said red meat, but now you're vegan. So how are you staying in shape?
He just eats lettuce. That's it.
She see me in lettuce. I'm just, I was saying earlier that I went vegan once a week for about a year just to kind of feel my way into the vegan world. So what I've slowly done is replace, say, that red meat with soy meat. Chicken with, say, tofu, and eggs with tofu, and there is a lot of substitutes. I'm not a raw vegan because for me that's a bit extreme.
So you eat eggs?
No. What I mean by raw vegan is literally seeds and nuts. So you can't eat tofu and soy. So
you don't heat above 118 degrees.
I got it. Oh yeah, we did a study on this. I should remember.
I'll be a raw vegan next year, so maybe you can join me.
There you go. No going out for meals with us too. But yeah, it's just replacing the foods that you have been eating with foods that are available in the grocery store or what's readily available to you.
Have you heard of aquafaba?
No.
Well, we're
going to put you on.
I'm scared.
No. We covered it a couple of weeks ago, but essentially it's the liquid in like chickpeas or any kind of bean that you would see in a can. But if you whisk that liquid quickly enough, it kind of turns into an egg substitute. And so you can use that as a great substitute for eggs.
I'm so excited.
You can start watching the shows, right?
Hey, it was the week I missed it.
All right, let's talk about 10 most frequent questions that people ask in most gyms, fitness centers, or even personal trainers. And we hear this all the time, and I mean, we have the best panel to answer these questions.
Thank you.
So one of the questions that even sometimes I like to ask myself, how do I get a flat stomach? So I'm going to let you guys chime in, and then I guess I'll say it from a woman's perspective, because it's a couple different ways.
Suck it in.
And no, do not wear a corset. That is not how you get a flat stomach.
Honestly, it's like, you see all these corset pictures on like social media sites, and you just think, what are you doing? But yeah, it's like a a shortcut essentially to like nowhereville. But God, do you want to start with this?
It's funny you said suck it in. I think sucking it in actually helps.
Well, you're contracting your muscles in your stomach. Yeah. So.
And it's kind of a hard question for me that I continually ask because I've always been in shape. So some people ask me, but it's like I don't necessarily know what it was to be out of shape and then in shape. But I will say that growing up, I swam. And so we were always in Speedos. And so when you're in a Speedo, you're always just sucking it in as hard as you can. And I think that did help. And I think for me, what helped was starting early and starting young. So I think for parents out there, if you're starting your kids, whether it's swimming or an activity, that's something they won't have to worry about, especially if they continue it onwards. But at the end of the day, you're going to need to cut those carbohydrates out of your diet. That's where you'll see the biggest difference.
I agree. I started training at the age of 14, 15 when I first started lifting weights. So I'm only 21.
It's only been 3 years.
Yeah, it's only been a few years. But again, Shaka's right in sucking it in part because the more you concentrate on your breathing, is actually a lot of bodybuilders do it where they concentrate on
bodybuilders.
I have an accent. So they concentrate on literally inhaling and exhaling to see their abdominal muscles. But again, it is down to diet.
Yeah.
If your diet isn't on point, and if you're not eating the right foods, you're not going to see the results.
Yeah.
You can train as hard as you want, but if you're eating the wrong foods, you're not going to see any results.
Yeah, and I think cardio too. I mean, if you look at runners, most athletes who run, they're just chiseled. And again, you can do like strength training, weighted ab exercises, which is good because you're going to build up your abs. But if you have a layer of fat on top of it, so that's where the nutrition comes in. That's where the cardio comes in. You really got to get your body fat percentage lower, so that way it's a flat stomach, and then you can see the muscles kind of poke on through, which mine are not right now. I'm in my plumping stage right now.
Off season.
I will give an expert tip to our viewers, though. A lot of people I see in the gym, they're working the obliques, and they grab those weights, and they're doing this thing to the side, and it's going to build your muscle, but that muscle's going to end up making you look fat.
And that's what I was just going to say. What it's going to do, it's going to widen you out, and especially as a woman, the trick is you want to keep your curves, and it actually makes your waist look smaller. So working on your upper body. Some girls do not like to work on their upper body; they just want to work on their butt and their abs, and maybe legs. Yeah, exactly.
And guess what? Working on your upper body is going to work your abs. It's going to work your abs.
Yeah,
because,
and it's going to give you that illusion of the hourglass. So,
Indeed.
I mean,
Indeed.
that's what a lot of girls try to go after. But don't be scared of those weights. But don't do obliques.
I'm going to add a point to Shaka's about the obliques. If you're going to do the obliques, you just have to literally just get the intercostal muscle. So when you're squeezing, you don't squeeze all the way down so it hits your love handles. So just get the intercostal muscles. So that's the tip for that aspect of training.
Okay, let's see. What else can we ask? Oh, this is another one I get asked all the time. What should I do first, cardio or strength training?
What time of day are we talking here?
Any time of day.
Typical.
Right.
For me, like strength training all the way, because you can actually, if you're training intensely, if you do like supersets, trisets, giant sets, you can pretty much do a cardio workout within your weight workout. So for me, weight workout all the way.
For me, it's just preference. I think you know yourself. If you get tired, I don't like to do cardio at the end of the workout. I just don't, because I want to leave the gym. The minute I put that last weight down, I want to leave. So I do it at the beginning of the workout, and I feel warm for the rest of the workout.
Yeah. For me, it depends what my goal is. Am I trying to lose, a certain amount of weight in a certain amount of time? If it's strictly weight loss, I'm going to save my energy for my cardio. I don't want to be super tired. Or if I want to tone up, then I'm going to do my strength training first, and whatever I have left in the tank, then I'll do my cardio, or I'll do plyometrics. You're using your own body weight, getting your heart rate up. So I guess it would be what your goals are and what you're capable of doing too. I mean, I'm not really a big runner, so I can't do tons of cardio, unfortunately. I'll get shin splints. So
there's so much out there. You have to find what you like, because if you're doing something that makes you miserable and you're going to end up just not doing it, that's not the right way to go. But I liked what you said about kind of doing the cardio within the workout and supersetting. That's what I love to do. It's really hard for me to do it if I'm by myself, because it's just like you end up, it's so tough because you're going from one thing to the next. But I think that's the best way to train.
It is. Or you can just have 2 workouts in a day. Do your cardio separate to your weight workout, then you've got enough energy during 2 separate workouts. You don't have to switch and swap between.
If time is a luxury.
Yeah, for sure.
I like to do fasted cardio too, so it is better to split them up because when you do your strength training, you want to have something in your system. You don't want to pass out or get sick.
Technically, if you train on the empty stomach
For strength training?
Yes.
I'll get dizzy.
I do that myself because your testosterone level is higher, so you've got more energy in the mornings. Yeah. So
interesting.
give it a try.
All right. So a lot of people ask about dietary supplements. What are your thoughts? I mean, some people, you go into their medicine cabinet and it's crazy. Like, and then some people, they're like, I don't use anything but creatine or protein powder. Yeah.
I do use supplements, but essentially at the end of the day, food is still your best source of minerals and other bits and pieces. But I do use BCAAs, creatine from time to time, beta-alanine as a pre-workout. Vegan protein. So yeah, I do use supplements because it makes your life easier. And that's what supplements are meant to do. They're meant to make your life easier, but you shouldn't have an over-reliance on them. And that's the problem that society has, is that there's some guys that literally, like, you look in their bag and it's just full of pills and powders and everything, and it's just crazy. Like, what are you doing? So there is no substitute for food. I think food is still your best source of minerals and aminos and other products. So
yeah, I feel like the physiques and the people I like and the way they train, they have like 1 or 2 go-to items, you know. And it's always the people that like aren't in shape and are trying to get in shape that have like 40 or 50 things. And I was that guy too when I started to get into fitness. I was like, well, I gotta get everything and just, I gotta be that thing. And you realize it's not about that. It's about the food and the training, and then which 1 or 2 of these things will like help me a little bit better.
Yeah, that makes sense. You guys being vegan, do you take any protein supplements, or how do you get in your protein?
Vegan protein. They made out of pea protein.
Hemp, pea, soy.
Hemp is so gritty and like, ooh.
Just plant protein.
Brown rice. Brown rice is horrible.
So, but there are just a ton of options. Yeah.
There is a ton. It's a big market now, and more people are going vegan. So there is a ton of brands out there that do vegan protein. So
because as we mentioned on the show, a lot of people don't know this, but a lot of people are allergic to whey. Yeah. And particularly women are allergic to whey. So that digestive issue you think you're having is because it's a little no, it's the whey. Yeah. And so, but it's not so big that you recognize it's that. But you just don't feel regular, or things aren't going well, and so
because you can become lactose intolerant later in life, so you have to look at that aspect too, and look at other options to get sustainable protein from. So vegan protein all the way.
You guys out there, if you have any other fitness questions that you're dying to know, dying to get answers to that we didn't answer already on the show, make sure you tweet at us on Twitter, or you can just comment if you're watching us on YouTube, and both Shaka and I will try to answer you the best way we can, or we'll bring it up on the next show. So right now we have a couple fitness trends that are just kind of saturating the market right now. One of them being fitness trackers that we already talked about. But why do you think this is such a trend right now? Like, Polar has been around for many, many years, and so have other fitness trackers. But why now? What do you think is causing this surge to go get a fitness tracker?
We're in a technology age. We have been for a while. So I think it's just people are saying they have no time, so work takes over. So it's just something to make your life easier. And I think people are becoming a bit lazier as well. So that's why. No offense.
Well, no.
Let's see how many steps I did today. I did not work out this morning. I can't lie. I did 3,200 steps. That's pretty bad. I will work out tonight.
Is that not good?
So you want to get minimum 10,000 steps per day. If I work out, literally hit 40 minutes, I'm way over.
You see, to me that would be discouraging because it's 6:40. I've only done 3. I gotta get another 7,000 steps in. I don't want to do any more. I want to go to bed now.
Right. To me, it's motivating because what it does is when it hits your goal, it vibrates and it says you hit your goal 120%, and then you go on your app and it shows you all the days that you hit it and how much you burn, and then you feel accomplished.
I think that's why it's probably so big right now because it's the first time you have this access to technology and see all these different metrics.
And even on top of that, it's kind of instant gratification, just like Instagram. You know, you're getting all these likes, you're getting that instant gratification. So with you walking around or doing your workout, you have another instant gratification to make you feel good about it.
And
so.
now you can probably share it too. I'm sure,
you
like
can
share your steps.
You have friends on the app, and they see. And I remember when the Nike running app first came out. Like I said, I am not a runner. I get shin splints, and we would compete, all of us friends, and I would do like 10, 11 miles just because somebody else was beating me. Like, it would take me forever, but I'm competitive, even with myself and other people.
I think that's a really good part about them, is that you can be alone, but then with a group of people that are motivating you.
All right, let's talk about HIIT. That is another kind of fitness trend. I think people before were more into long distance running or hiking, but now there's, you know, so much emphasis on high intensity interval training, or Shaka likes to call it HIIT.
The only guy who does that.
What do you guys think about HIIT?
It's a great way to burn fat. You know, it just elevates your heart levels very quickly, and keeps them elevated for even post-workout. So it's a great way to work out. It really depends on what your goals are, essentially. So if you're looking to burn fat, HIIT's a great way to go. I'm a big advocate of HIIT. Then again, I would advocate low intensity, steady state cardio too, like depending on the time of the day. So, but as far as HIIT goes, you can implement into any kind of workout. So whether it's you know, doing battle ropes or doing like sprints or whatever. And the next one up from that will be Tabata, which is like 4 minutes long. You know, a 4-minute workout. That's who doesn't want to do that? So HIIT for me is always like a gold star. You know, it's a good way to go.
Yeah, I mean, growing up, I watched the Summer Olympics all the time, and it was a matter of what body did I want. Did I want the sprinter's body, or did I want, you know, the guys running 26
Skinny
miles?
guy.
And so I said, you know what, that looks cool. And so even when HIIT came about, it was always to me, I've already known this.
Isn't that funny?
Just by what I was observing, you know, so.
I think that's funny because I grew up as a competitive gymnast, and I see like this acro yoga, or like I see certain things and I'm like, I already did that, or like certain yoga in itself, certain moves. I'm like, I've been doing that. Like it's funny when things come around.
The studies catch up to what you already knew from
or
observation.
we're doing on your own. So it's pretty interesting. All right, let's talk about functional fitness. CrossFit.
Essentially CrossFit.
Is just all the rave right now. And I think, Shaka, me and you talked about this before, where we think it's kind of a little bit dangerous.
A little bit dangerous, but I think you could, if you're aware and knowledgeable about yourself,
Your body,
I think you're fine. I love CrossFit.
Oh, do you? Okay.
That's how I really got started in my adult fitness life, where I wanted to maintain fitness after sports. And I think it's great. And I didn't even see how popular it was going to get. A friend told me years ago, open up a CrossFit gym. It's going to get big. And I was like, no, it won't. It's because I only saw a few people doing it in like little nooks and crannies.
The reason why I think it's so big is because I feel like those of us who grew up athletes, who, you know, you get to a certain age and you realize, okay, I'm not going to make it to the Olympics. You kind of have to throw in the towel. It gives you another chance to push yourself, to be competitive. And I feel like that's what's really catching on. It's nice to, I guess, have a workout of the day. You know,
exactly,
literally every day you have a different workout.
And now I know with bodybuilders, there's been always a tension between bodybuilders versus Crossfitters.
I know, I see him trying to hold his tongue.
What's your
I don't know. I think it's like a class with bad form. I don't mind CrossFit as far as a workout goes. But what I don't really agree with is like the CrossFit Games, because the form in those competitions are so bad. You know, you're going to break your back. What are you doing? As far as CrossFit goes, it's literally just powerlifting. That's what it is. It's nothing new. You haven't reinvented the wheel here. It's nothing unique. It's literally powerlifting with like some pull-ups thrown in, and you know, some other like plyometric moves. That's about it. I'm not trying to like diss on CrossFit here. Like I like CrossFit elements because it is powerlifting. I just don't agree with the way that they execute their form.
I will say this. One of my good friends, she is a CrossFitter and always invites me. And I have gone a couple of times, but I think one of the reasons that has kept me a little bit resistant from really, doing it with her consistently is I tweaked my back before and I kind of have some sciatica. And I know doing those cleans and like trying to push yourself, and I get very cautious, especially when you're trying to get things done under a certain amount of time, where you're not pacing yourself, where you're trying to put up more weight. You're trying to, and I know I'm competitive. I would probably try to look tough and then hurt myself. So that's the only thing that kind of keeps me a little shy from going all in.
CrossFit is big on form. They want you to have the right form because having the right form will allow you to sort of do things at a quick pace. And so they make sure your back is neutral and those kind of things. But it also is a tension because part of functional fitness is that you could do things that aren't done in a certain way, but as long as the body is getting the full benefit of the workout, it's okay. So with pull-ups, you see the kipping pull-ups. That form to kip is what allows you to do way more pull-ups than you would normally do if you were doing them regular. And so the thought is if you can do more pull-ups, that's better for the overall health and fitness of the body.
We'll agree to disagree.
That's okay. We'll take a break and do our live read. How about that?
So how's your fantasy football season going? You playing?
I don't play football. No, I'm a soccer man.
Well, you might start
football.
Football.
Well, this might change your mind. Your starting running back has already pulled both hamstrings, and your sleeper pick is still sleeping. Well, it's not too late to save your season and win huge cash prizes at DraftKings.com. There's money involved. DraftKings is the destination for one-week fantasy football. That means no season-long commitments to bust and bench warmers. Never again will injuries have you combing the waiver wire at 2 a.m. Every week is a brand new season at DraftKings. Just pick your contest, draft your team, and follow the action live. Renew old rivalries with friends and play them every week. That'd be good for the fitness tracker, get everyone involved, Or try 50-50 contest where the top half of all entries win cash. Even if your current fantasy team is circling the drain, you can still win huge prizes at DraftKings. Don't wait. Start your new season at DraftKings.com now. Use code BSports and play free with your first deposit. That's code BSports, BSPORTS, to play free for your share of over $1 million in total prizes this weekend.
$1 million.
I think you might want to think about playing. Only at DraftKings.com. Eligibility restrictions may apply. See site for details.
And you don't even have to be fit to do that, right?
Yeah, you can sit on your couch, right?
You can sit on your couch and win a lot of money.
You can be a CrossFitter to do that.
Wow. All right, so let's dive into you, Mehmet. This is just for you. So
where are you from?
So we can finally answer the question, where is that awesome accent from?
I'm from London.
London.
What did you guess?
Oh, I was way off. I think I said Australia, New Zealand.
You circled the direction.
Around, yeah.
South Africa, and then we finally.
It was close to that.
Did you grow up there, and when did you come to the States?
Yep, I grew up in London. Studied there. Went to college there. Came over to the US. It's been 3 years now.
And what made you come to the US?
Career.
Yeah.
It's a good place to be. Fitness, acting, modeling.
Oh yeah, modeling, acting, all that stuff.
Entertainment capital is LA, so I thought, why not?
Yeah, it makes sense.
It makes sense indeed.
Now, you do a lot of writing for Muscle and Fitness, as well as other publications. What made you get into that? Because I know at one point you were doing bodybuilding.
For me personally, it was people kept asking me questions and asking me, do you want to train me? And I'm not a personal trainer. I don't want to train people. I don't have the patience. I admire people that do have the patience. So for me, it was a way to...
So you're saying you're not a people person?
For me personally, it's if someone doesn't have the same dedication as me, then I think, what the hell are you doing? Why are you wasting my time?
Yeah.
You might be paying for my time, but you're wasting your time.
Yeah.
So I wanted to educate a mass of people just by educating them through my own experiences and what I've done and what's worked for me. So like I said before, I've done various diets and trained in various ways. So it was just a way to educate the masses in a quicker way, in a quicker format. So that's what led to writing for Muscle and Fitness.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Do you have, I think so many people want to get into the industry, and there's so many people that are in shape. So what is it that you think kind of propelled you into the industry and to where you are now?
I started competing in 2008 when competitions weren't
That's big.
fashionable. Yeah, it seems to be like every man and his dog is competing for a show right now. And it's great. It's a great way to get into the industry, and it's a great way to get your feet wet. So that was my first steps into, I guess, the fitness industry. And from then, I got published in a few publications. It kind of rolled on from there. But I was doing mainstream modeling part-time back then anyway, so it's kind of like a combination of the two.
Of everything going.
Yeah.
I love that you're writing, because I feel like a lot of the fitness professionals are getting the knowledge and education to sit down and write even a coherent paragraph. Can you tell us the importance about doing that?
For me personally, like I said, it's tracking my own knowledge as well. Sometimes you forget what you've done, so it's kind of like you've got a library of information within you. So by logging it down, it makes it easy to kind of track what you've done and like stuff that you've forgotten about, essentially. So having a library of information available online kind of re-educates myself sometimes too, as well as educating the masses. So for me, it's a great way to, again, I'm going to use the word accountable. So it's a great way for me to keep accountable for myself, and again, kind of change up my own workouts and diet from time to time if I'm kind of, people forget, we get older, you know, our brains don't function as efficiently as we'd like, so it's a great way to track things.
Now, do these magazines reach out to you and tell you, I want you to write about this, or how do you go about, you know, picking the different topics that you're going to dive into and write about?
It initially started off, it was mainly workouts, so again, workouts for main different body parts, and
but again, would they ask you, or would you be like, oh, this is a cool chest workout, submit it?
Initially began with me submitting different stories. I was full of ideas, and then, you know, when ideas started to get a bit slower, they would like specifically ask for different elements or different subjects. So it's a combination of the two. So I've started writing for Muscle and Fitness in Turkey as well now.
Oh,
so
cool.
and that was I think the last couple of months. So trying to go, you know, worldwide as well. Yeah.
I love it because it forces you to challenge some of your own notions. Because sometimes I've sat down to write stuff, I'm like, wait, why do I believe that?
Yeah.
And I have to go find out why I thought this was a thing.
I completely agree. Yeah, because sometimes it's embedded so deep in you, and you forget what the reason is.
Yeah, and you want to go cite something, and you're like, wait a minute. Have you had any of those moments? What was maybe your big moment that was like an aha moment?
All the time. I'm trying to think of one. It's just regularly. When I'm sat down to write, I'm like, why the hell did I think that? It's I think most of the time it's down to like diet aspects, and even like with the carbohydrate and fat thing for me, and just when I've done certain diets, it's like, why is carb cycling good? Why is keto good? It's just like, oh yeah, that's why I believe in that. And it's just because it's so deeply embedded in you, like, why am I even following this? It just becomes second nature, and it becomes your lifestyle. So you kind of forget why you're doing it. So it's good that sometimes you have to research things that you're trying to put down on paper and go back and revisit the reasons why you're following this lifestyle.
So when you write about these things, you're probably living that way.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you wouldn't try or do if you had to
Corset.
write about?
I'm kidding. Good question.
Or has there been anything that you're like, nope, I'm not gonna do that. I don't want to write about it.
I generally stay true to myself. So anything I write about, I've tried, or I've kind of like, you know, whether it's a workout routine. There's been times where I've changed my workout during the week, and I've wrote about that. Whether it's diet as well. I've tried the diet, so there isn't something I haven't tried. So I'm a big advocate of, you know, testing it on myself first, and then publicizing it to the public.
Now, everybody has a story of why they've gone vegan, if they are vegan. So what made you do it other than having a friend like Shaka who
He put a gun to my head, you know, he said, do you want abs? Here you go. For me personally, again, I was doing it once a week for about a year, just to kind of test the waters and see how it is. You know, it was a struggle at first. I was like, what the hell am I doing? I cannot eat like this. And there's people that go vegan and they eat a lot of processed food. So they're like cheap vegans, you know, they're not really like Shaka.
Well, you can be a fat vegan. So it's
honestly,
possible.
it's funny because I was at a
I roomed
vegan...
with one.
I was at a vegan festival on the weekend, and a lot of people were out of shape. And I'm like, are these people not vegan? Like, what the heck?
Yeah.
And the problem is they're eating like fried food and processed food, and they're not eating like the healthy foods which are available. So for me, being vegan, it's I want to prolong my life, and I want to be more just take out the cholesterol from my body from the keto diet. You know, it's a fatty diet, so I just wanted to kind of detox myself and kind of start afresh. I'm not ethically vegan yet. You know, I'm still wearing leather belts and stuff. So sorry, Peter.
Well, it's a nice
side, right?
It's a nice side effect though, because I was vegan just for the look, and you know I think it's the healthiest way to live.
Yeah.
And then I watched Cowspiracy, and I was like, oh, I'm doing some great stuff for the environment.
Saving the world, my Captain Planet.
That's funny. So with the ketogenic diet, there's a lot of people who experience the keto flu, or because it's so drastic. Have any of the diets that you've done or lifestyles that you have took under your wing, being vegan, ketogenic, or any other diets that did you ever see some crazy side effects?
I haven't seen any side effects as such. I think the only big rebound I ever had was after I did 4 shows in 1 year, kind of back to back, and I kind of had like a big old cheat meal at the end, and I literally just blew up. And the thing with shows, I was like a pregnant lady at 9 months. The problem with people that compete is they get the rebound effect, and they're not sure how to get back into it. So for me, I think one of the reasons why I wanted to stop competing, because it took me, I think, 6 months to get back to normality. And that's even my relationship with food. I didn't know what my relationship with food was. I didn't know what to eat. It confused me. I was out of sync. So I think that was the biggest obstacle for me when it comes to diet and training. Just getting back to life and getting back to normality after a long competition season.
Yeah, and what is it that causes, because I've experienced that too, where I've been on a strict diet and then my stomach will blow up once I try to eat normal again.
It's called by overeating. You just went to town.
Your eyes want more than what you can eat.
But you know what, I think it also is that your body isn't used to eating something, so your body doesn't know how to break it down. And that's why you're experiencing that belly bloat. Your body's kind of like, what's going on? Same thing kind of when you go from eating bad and you just strictly go to eating clean. I would get like broccoli cramps, I would call them, because all that broccoli would just be hurting me.
Yeah, I thought I took the opposite approach, because my first show, I dieted not too long and then had the rebound effect, and I was just like, oh, I feel awful. And so I was like, oh, maybe the longer I eat clean before I had the cheat meal, it'll be even better. And it got even worse. And then you try it 2 or 3 more times, and you're like, I just can't have that cheat meal anymore. I have to like eat something I like, but that's healthy, you know.
Well, do you find now being vegan that you eat less sugary foods? Do you less
100%.
craving?
Yeah, and then you also, like, when you eat vegan, people know that you're kind of into health, so they try to make it healthy. Now, you have to kind of search for things that are vegan and not healthy. But if you, in general, vegan things tend to be healthier because they know that you value that. So.
Unless you eat fried vegan food.
I know. Vegan fried donuts.
I know, right?
And that's when I found out Oreos were vegan, I knew we had a problem.
All right, you guys, we are out of time, but we had so much fun with you. Thank you so much for chiming in and kind of blessing us with your accent and your knowledge. If you guys want to find him, again, where can you have your followers and our fans find you?
MehmetEdip.com, so MEHMETEDIP.com. Social media handles are all the same too.
Is it the _ Mehmet Edip on Twitter?
Twitter is the _ Mehmet Edip, but everything else is just Mehmet Edip.
And when is your next publication?
Oh gosh, probably in the next week or 2.
Oh, there you go.
If you check the Muscle and Fitness website, you'll see pictures of this guy everywhere.
And him too,
Courtesy of him.
All right, Shaka, where can they find you?
You can find me at Shaka Strong on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat.
All right, you guys, you can find me online at fitwithfallon.com or fitwithfallon on social media. We had a great time. Again, if you have any more questions for him, for us, tweet at us, in the comment section. Type away, and we'll try to answer you, and we will see you same time, same place next week, right, Shaka?
Yep, you got it.
All right, we'll see you guys.
See you guys.
Take care.
From executives Keven Undergaro, Dario Kristen, Tiana Hobson, and the entire BHL staff, we would like to thank you for supporting Black Hollywood Live, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. For questions and comments, contact us. info@blackhollywoodlive.com. Like us on Facebook, tweet us, or Instagram us at BHL Online. And I am the official voice of Black Hollywood Live, Scipio. Instagram me at KingXOBay. Thanks for tuning in.
Hollywood Redefined.
The views expressed here are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of BHL or its owners or principals.